Hello everyone, I have a question for you. What is the most iconic mob in Minecraft? Is it the Creeper, the Enderman, or the Wither? The most common answer would be the Wither. Of course it's the Wither, is there any other answer for that? Yeah, I love the Wither. It is my favorite mob in the entire game. I love the design, I love the summoning, I love the sounds it makes. I love the fan art, I love the beacon, I love the nether star, I love the wither storm, I love everything about it. But what is the wither? To make myself more clear, nearly every mob in the entire game is either taken or inspired from a different creature. The Creaking is a tree creature. The Phantom is a flying reptilian. The Blaze is an elemental and the Breeze is one too. The Ravager is a bull. And I'm pretty sure the Strider is taken from that one creepy cryptid, the Nightcrawlers. Even the Warden can be related to the Venom symbiote. Most of the time, you can see what the mob is trying to resemble. But the Wither is the most odd one out. It's a massive flying creature with 3 heads, a skeleton body, no legs or arms, that throws many versions of its head. It plants poisonous flowers on where its victims dies. It makes the sky go darker. It summons wither skeletons on low health. And yes, I'm looking into Bedrock Edition features. And story mode as well. The first thing we should look at is the design. The summoning design and the actual design. The most important thing here is the summoning. 3 wither skulls and 4 soul sand blocks. Both of them originate from the nether, the underworld of Minecraft. Especially the wither skulls. The wither skulls are important. You need 3 of them to summon the wither. 3. What other 3-headed creature do we know of? Oh, what do we have here? Cerberus, the guardian of hell, or the guardian of the underworld. I think you can see the connections. A 3-headed creature that originates from the underworld or from hell. The same thing can be said for the wither. So does that mean just like how Cerberus is the guardian of hell, the wither is the guardian of the nether? Well, not really. You see, Cerberus have a job. And that job is to prevent the dead from leaving the underworld. But the wither does not do that at all. Something interesting about the Wither is that it attacks everything. It is hostile to every mob in the game, except a certain few. One of them is the undead, and they can be labeled as escapees of the dead, creatures who escaped the realm of the dead. And the fact that the Wither specifically does not attack them is interesting. That proves that the Wither is not the guardian of the Nether. It is not the Cerberus of Minecraft. Another important detail is the Ghast. The Ghast is the only mob that is not undead and it does not get attacked by the Wither. And this is interesting because Mojang wanted that to happen. In 2019, Mojang did a bug fix where the Wither would attack the Ghast. And they made it that it won't attack the Ghast. And they called it works as intended. The Wither being friendly to the Ghast is intentional. Mojang wanted them to be friendly. Now, the main theory of this video does explain why this happens, but here's a mini theory for you. The Wither is hostile to all nether mobs, except the zombified ones, the Ghast and the Wither skeletons. I believe the Ghast and the Wither skeletons are souls. The Wither skeletons are bad souls, sinners, maybe even demons. And the Ghast is a lost soul, a good soul, maybe even an angel, because it's white and is able to fly, 2 descriptions that are commonly seen in angels. I think the Happy Ghast does approve this theory. The Ghast is an undead, it's an undead soul. That's why the Wither does not attack it. The Wither attacks every mob in the game except the undead. And just like what I said before, Cerberus have the complete opposite job. The Wither is not the Cerberus of Minecraft. Yet the similarities between them are undeniable. That's why I kept digging in Greek mythology, and I found a lot of important information. In ancient Greece, they used a lot of different materials for sculpturing and carving, and they used clay and terracotta for depicting their gods and mythology. They used them for pottery, for art, for molding figurine, and much more. And I want to bring attention to the chiseled red sandstone block, a block that depicts the Wither on its texture. What does red sand have to do with clay and terracotta? If you did research on pottery, you'll see that red sand is used to create clay pots, and heating up clay creates terracotta. And also red sand and terracotta both come from the same biome in Minecraft, the Badlands. So, what I'm trying to say is, just like how the ancient Greece used terracotta to depict their gods, the same thing is happening to the Wither. The Wither is some sort of god in the world of Minecraft. Or to be more specific, it's a force of nature. In ancient mythologies, people always personified natural forces as gods and deities. Ra, the god of the sun, Gaia, the goddess of earth, Thor, the god of thunder, the god of sleep, the god of war, and the list goes on. I believe the Wither is the same. It's a natural force of the universe that is represented in this shape and form. What force it is, you'll have to wait. And this is everything I have for Greek mythology. We're done here. Anyways, let's move on. Wait. There's a small little detail that I have to talk about. 3. The number 3 appears a lot in Greek mythology. I already talked about Cerberus, the three-headed beast, but there is more trees in there. We have the judges of the dead, the 3 judges of the dead. Their job is very straightforward. Their names are Aekios, I am not spelling whatever that is, and Minos. We also have the Fates, or the Morai, or the Sisters of Fate. Why is there so many names for them? And as you can see, there are 3 Sisters of Fate. Remember this for later. And now, for real this time, we're done with Greek mythology. Let's move on. I continued my research for understanding the Wither, and I stumbled on Christianity. I started digging in there mainly because of this picture. Yes, this is a real Christian artwork that was used in many paintings. Surprisingly, it is not the important thing here. The most important information that I could find in there is actually the horsemen of the apocalypse. This entire time, I was talking about the Wither's design, but what about the Wither's abilities? The 4 horsemen of the apocalypse connect to the abilities of the Wither: war, famine, pestilence, or disease, and death.
Now I am become death.
What connects them to the Wither's abilities? Let's start with one of my favorite features, the Wither Rose. Whenever the Wither kills a mob in the game, the Wither Rose will drop or plant on where that mob dies. And when somebody touches the Wither Rose, they'll get infected with the Wither effect. This clearly resembles pestilence or disease. The Wither infects somebody with a virus, and when that somebody dies, it leaves something that spreads the same exact virus. And what's the most famous pestilence that we know of? The Black Plague. One of the reasons the Black Plague destroyed Europe is the corpses. The bodies of the victims actually spread the same plague that killed them to others. Just like the Wither Rose. It literally spawns on the corpses of its victims. The Wither Rose resembles pestilence. It is so obvious. And now for the second and red one, the War Horsemen. In Bedrock Edition, when the Wither reaches half of the health and begins the second phase, it will spawn 3 Wither skeletons, except on easy difficulty, that will protect and help the Wither against the player. They work as soldiers, as protectors, as defenders, as warriors for the Wither. War represents blood, pain, and violence. And let's just say, the Wither skeleton really loves all of them. So yeah, I'm placing them as the War Horsemen. And now we have famine. This is the biggest stretch in the entire video. I'm gonna talk about something that not many people know of. Even the Minecraft wiki does not mention it for some reason. It is the darker skies. Whenever you summon the Wither in the overworld, the sky and clouds will become darker. And the Wither is the only thing in the entire game that can do that. It does not affect the gameplay in any shape or form, but I believe it represents famine. Plants need sunlight to grow. If something blocks the sunlight, the plant won't grow. Let's say a darker sky. Of course, that does not happen in the game. It's a stupid and a horrible feature if it actually happens. But real life examples, real life famines do help in this case. Like the eruption of Mount Tambora. In 1815, a volcano in Indonesia erupted, creating a massive cloud of ash that caused lower temperature, a lot of climate change, and harvest failure, aka famine. The eruption caused thousands of deaths, and around 30,000 of them were from starvation. People called it the year without summer. And all of that is because of the volcanic ash that covered the sky and the sun in darkness. Just like what I said before, the dark sky in the game does nothing, but the connections to actual famines in real life is important. Not only Tambora, but we also have the volcanic winter of 536, an even better and more famous example that started from the same reason. So yeah, the dark sky represents famine, and I'm placing it as the famine horseman. And now for the final horseman, the leader and the strongest one of them, the pale horseman, Death. What does connect the Wither to Death? Is it the flying skulls, the second phase shield? Is it the nether star, the beacon's pyramid, the effects it gives? Is it the Wither storm? No, the Wither itself is Death. The Wither is a personification and incarnation of death. It does not represent death. No, it is death. It is the concept of death itself. And you can see that with the evidence that I provided. The Wither originates from the Nether. The Wither skulls and soul sand, the two materials you need to summon it, both come from the Nether. And the Nether is described as the hell version of Minecraft, or the underworld of Minecraft. And in Greek mythology, the underworld is the realm of the dead. Also, remember how the Wither attacks everything in the game except the specific group of mobs? Why doesn't the Wither attack them? It's not because they're undead, it's because they're not alive. They're ghosts, skeletons, zombies, creatures who are already dead. If the Wither is actually dead, it explains why it does not attack them, but it attacks everything else. Every human, animal, monster is a target for the Wither. You can even describe it as the enemy of life. It hates everything that can be described as alive. Then comes Greek mythology. The most iconic feature of the Wither are the 3 heads. That's why I associated the number 3 with it. And in Greek mythology, that number appears a lot, but it is always connected to death. Cerberus, the guardian of the underworld, the realm of the dead, the judges of the dead. This one is straightforward. And the sisters of fate. We all know that death is a fate for everything in the world. Even one of the sisters' names, Atropos, literally means the inevitable, a metaphor of death in Greek mythology. Talking about names and their meanings, what about the Wither? The word Wither. What does it mean? There is actually many meanings for it. For example, decaying, shriveling, losing, stopping, ceasing, weakening, disappearing,
fading, rotting,
becoming forgotten, not living. Yeah, they're all a metaphor for death. The Wither equals death. And this is my Wither theory. This is all the information that I have. But what about the Wither storm? In the start of the video, I said that I will use it as a source of information. I lied. There is no information. But really, there are some connections. The Wither storm was shown as a world-ending event, as an apocalypse, just like the horsemen of the apocalypse. Even the word apocalypse literally means a world-ending event. So yeah, but something that I should talk about is the achievements. The beginning question mark and the beginning. The 2 achievements you get by summoning and killing the Wither. And their naming is kinda interesting. The beginning, the start of something. Knowing the Wither is dead, let me show you my theory. What happened in Minecraft is like what happened in Elden Ring. No spoilers, if you know, you know. The concept of death was reshaped and transformed to the Wither. And the ability to die in the game, in the world, is gone. That's why you can respawn and die infinite times. Everyone and everything is immortal. And that event that led to the creation to the Wither happened a long time ago, before we, the players, even joined. That is why the beginning achievements show up. They're like deja vu for the player. At first being confused at the similarities and why it feels that they saw the Wither before. But then realizing everything and remembering the sole reason why they're immortal in the first place. Because they killed death. And that is my Wither theory. For real this time. This video and this theory is done. I still have more ideas for the Nether Star, the beacon, and even beds. But that is for another video. Thank you for watching.